So I get it. But beyond that, he just hasn't really been able to find a home with someone. And I think it should have been the Rick, to be honest. But, I mean, Arya's kind of crazy right now, and we're going to see exactly how it can play out as we get into game number 1 here of Jeff versus BoneShackles. We got Shaggy versus Arya off the start.
Yeah, little place we call home, Trophy's Edge, number 2. This is basically...
Number 1.
Number 2.
This is number 1.
It's Connor. Thank you.
Thank you, Connor, thank you. That's, oh my goodness. Finally somebody came in here and saved this because that was driving me crazy. But off the start here, like you're saying, Trophy's Edge, pretty much where we always start. There isn't really a stage that Arya cares too much about in terms of getting knockouts. You can find them wherever you want. But, oh yeah, we didn't do, I didn't get the prediction in for this first one. I'll do it very quickly. But the biggest thing that I've seen people counterpick with Arya of late is, Sky Arena no plats because of the extra life that she gets to her.
Yeah, she gets to live a little bit longer. Her combo's still kind of, it's going to knock out a little bit, like, it's going to take a little longer to knock out, but overall, like, it's still super consistent, so.
And the one thing that does become very fearful, though, is A, Jeff is super aggressive. B, Jeff is super aggressive. Therefore, sometimes he overextends a bit, and he gets caught by the double dare, and BoneShackles strikes first.
Yeah, so BoneShackles getting the first stock there. Very clean double dare, trying to, you know, rack up as much damage as they can, possibly. But the down attack from Shaggy is going to knock out that stock. And it's a very even game now.
Try to use a stun on the ledge to get back on safely because Arya doesn't have the best overall recovery. So I like the idea behind it, but it still put you directly next to Shaggy on the ledge. Not exactly the best in terms of being able to stay alive.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about it, too, is that it doesn't have an active hitbox for a good second. It takes a little bit on that startup.
Yeah, that's like a solid 30, 40-ish frames worth of startup, but that stun does help a ton. But Jeff is one of those people we've said before who kind of like, he's a bit of a slow starter, but once he figures out how to start opening you up, it becomes a real problem because of things like that. And he will go for that almost every single time.
Yeah, very good kill confirm for, like, Jeff as a whole is that down air. It's a very large hitbox, and it has a very good angle to it as well.
Yeah, even if you think it's not true, it's going to be true to Jeff. That's it, because he's a true believer that he's going to kill you. But BoneShackles is currently in a position where he's not that far behind, but throwing away the blade right there, he's going to use it to get out of that combo he had going. But he needs to find a knockout ASAP because now you're actually in knockout percentages in front of Shaggy.
Exactly. So now we've got a pretty easy stock here if you can hit the dagger. 109% is pretty much a guaranteed stock at that point. Up air a little bit staler now because of that one hit, but gotta be careful because Shaggy could knock you out really early.
Yeah. Oh, dare follow up with the up special? No, he was not in a position to really confirm off of it. I figured he was going to try and go for it immediately, but he was a little too close to the ground. Side special unarmed is pretty good as a challenge to whenever, you know, Shaggy gets the armor up, but he didn't have armor, so I figured that he would try to wait for that type of read, and he's kind of letting Jeff know early, like, hey, I'm willing to try and go for that.
Yeah, exactly. The good thing about Arya, too, is that they do have their down special in order to get, like, that armor break move on all of their next hit. Which can help versus a lot of the armor that Shaggy has as well. And something that we did find out, the platform kind of assisting there with that knockout. Something that we did find out is that when you are out of dodge meter, there is 4 attacks that normally have armor, no armor.
Yep. Yeah, that's the same. You know, the same thing with Soups and all the other characters that people didn't realize was a direct nerf to characters like Superman. Is you don't have the ability to just dash cancel armor spam anymore to use that as a movement tool. Now, I was curious as to whether BoneShackles was going to counterpick a different character because usually when he loses game 1, he has that moment of like, okay, this didn't work, what am I going to do next? And he usually does switch, but he is going to stay on. And he went to exactly where I was kind of expecting. He's going to go to Sky Arena, no platforms. But one thing that has been stated amongst pretty much all the Shaggies is they actually think that this might be their best stage.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could be one of their best stages as Shaggies are pretty good at juggling people.
Yeah, and I'm going to go and give it an extra step. I think it's probably Tree Fort, but the thing is, they're never getting Tree Fort here. We're always going to ban it on them. So this becomes their next best home because you survive longer, you're already heavy enough, they have nowhere to hide, so they're forced to fight you linear, and it gives you the full jump in pressure. But the biggest thing is that if you take someone who zones you here, you're going to be asking for trouble. So I don't think he really cares too much about that, leaving it open against Arya.
Right, exactly. Arya is one of those characters that she wants to get her KOs off the top as well. So a bigger ceiling is never going to be a bad thing either.
Yeah, let's see what he could do to try and keep building on this lead. It's a momentary lead, but he'd see if he could keep building on it. That up air, trying to catch a dodge in. I like the idea because BoneShackles does have a habit sometimes of getting a little bit aggressive to try and like reset neutral and go dodge in. But against Shaggy, it's actually better to disengage and whiff punish in this type of matchup, or play till you got the cooldown off. Big difference, of course, for everybody who doesn't realize it, is that this character offline becomes easier to react to because you can watch that blade cooldown.
Exactly. You can see things like the blade cooldown, as well as you can see...
oh my god, that move is so...
You can see when they're going to teleport a little bit easier as well. So it actually... You can dodge Arya teleport offline a little easier than you would ever be able to online. Yeah,
and now Jeff with the lead, but of course this lead means nothing in the face of Arya. That could be enough to do it. It is going to be enough to do it. I figured that it might be close considering it was center stage, but that move has a surprising amount of knockback when it's completely unstale.
Yeah, exactly. So that move is very good with catching people off guard as well because of the fact that it is a multi-hit and travels over a short period of time.
Yeah, and right now, Jeff got him in a dare position, but he did not have him in a perfect enough spot, because I think I remember correctly seeing that with an attack decay. But BoneShackles doesn't get the wall touch he's looking for off that side special, and all of a sudden, he gave Jeff a much bigger lead.
Yeah, huge lead there for Jeff. 2 stocks to 1 here. A very comfortable lead, too.
Yeah, you just keep building on it from this point forward. Once you have Arya in this type of position, you basically just kind of camp center, wait for them to approach, look for the blade, and once blade's off the cooldown, you just keep whiff punishing them. Because there's no reason for you to actually approach from this point forward.
Yeah.
Granted, it is Shaggy, so you kind of need to, but that's why I say you got to be careful. Didn't lead to a knockout, but it's still just like blade could show up, or they could just jump over dare you.
Exactly. Another thing, too, like with the rage, you're going to have things like that where
huge
hitbox and a very large down air there. Going for that stock, getting the first one, and yeah, it's just very dominant last stock there. I know that there was a accidental stock loss from BoneShackles, not touching the wall, but very, very clean stuff from Jeff overall.
I think you can see the visible frustration on BoneShackles at the end or two, where like he had the recovery, but you just had to like cover it, and I think that's why at the end it was, you can definitely see visibly that it was a little annoying, but at the same time you got to be careful when you're trying to box with Shaggy off stage in those positions. But that's the first one. That's gonna go 2-0 in Jeff's favor. Up next, we're going to get